What's up, peeps? In this video, I'm getting colorful. No, not my language. My oversized IKEA desk is getting a 30 color extreme transformation. I've been itching to do this project for a while, and this week I'm taking part in the Spring Fling Challenge with about 20 other YouTube channels. This one is hosted by Sabrina at Sab's Rehabs. I'll leave a link to her channel and the entire playlist below. You have to check them out. But enough blabbering about it, let's get started. This desk is mammoth, but I didn't want to paint it in place. So I started by clearing everything off the surface. Then I removed the screws so I could disassemble the rollout section. That was frankly the only way this puppy was getting out my office door. Oh no. Does that not come out? Yeah, it does. Woo. I'm starting this project like every project, by cleaning with the degreasing dish soap. I use palm olive and warm water with a lint-free microfiber rag. Now, this desk is made of MDF and particle board with some kind of veneer, so I'm being careful not to go over the edges. And it does get regular cleaning on top, but the sides haven't been done in a while. Once it was fully degreased, I used clean water and a clean rag to remove all the soap. I did 2 passes to make sure there wasn't any residue left behind. Once everything dried, I could get to scuff sanding. Like I said, I didn't know what was underneath this plastic feeling top layer, and I was kinda nervous that it was just an embossed sticker. I started with a 100 grit and I went slow to make sure I didn't blow through down to the MDF. To my surprise, I discovered real wood veneer underneath what happened to be a thermofoil sticker. That's actually really cool because we have another one of these desks, and this gives me some inspo for that makeover. As I started wiping down, I realized that I forgot to sand an entire side. So I got that, wiped everything down, and then left it to dry. I don't want the wood grain showing through on this piece once it's painted, so I'm using my Ace brand wood filler to skim coat the entire desk. As I was applying it with my trusty Japan scraper, I realized the fill was just a bit dried out. It was really hard to push into the grain and scrape it back without removing most of the wood fill. Kinda defeats the purpose. So I grabbed a mister bottle and lightly sprayed down the surface before adding the wood fill. That thinned out the wood fill just enough to be more pliable, and it worked like a charm, so I continued across the entire desk. This high-speed clip will give a much better view of how I applied the wood fill. Once that dried, I used a 180 grit and I sanded everything down to smooth. Then I used a barely damp rag to wipe off the wood fill dust. That's so I didn't rehydrate and pull the fill up and out of the grain. Finally, I was ready to get painting. I originally wanted to use Vagabond Blue from Melange on this desk as a base, but I was almost out. So instead I mixed my own custom similar color. I'm using a Frankenpaint, starting with a base of Navy Latex by Behr, and I mixed that into some BB Froche. I'm using also the end of my Rust-Oleum chalked in the color Charcoal, and some chalk board paint in black. The color turned out exactly as I wanted, so I used a low nap fabric roller to apply it over the entire piece. After the paint had a chance to dry overnight, I could finally start getting creative. First, I found the approximate center of the top of the desk. Then, using my fingers, I drew out a rough heart shape in the middle of the desk. That left a subtle mark on the paint, and I could use that as a guide. I cut 1/4-inch strips from a roll of delicate painter's tape, and I added that as my actual visual guide. I'll be going over this with delicate frog tape so I get a super crisp edge. And I need to give a huge shout out to Frog Tape, because I won a giveaway recently and they sent me all this tape and more. I can't wait to put all of this to good use. And this heart on top of my desk, it's a pretty good place to start. So I tried my initial idea. As you can see, I wanted to have smaller hearts almost bursting out from the center heart. But no matter how great Frog Tape is, it still has flexibility limitations, so I kinda had to scrap that idea. Then at that very moment, Jason Mraz came up in my playlist. Something clicked. The new plan hit me, and I was super psyched to get this tape laid down. I started laying down color. Now, I'm using about 30 total colors on this piece, so I'm not going to mention them all, but I'll list everything down in the description. I wasn't especially thrilled with the lack of consistency in the coverage of this paint, and most of my bottles were only 2 ounces, so I was definitely a bit nervous that I'd run out. But I kept going across the top, laying down a solid but barely blended first coat. going for a different look on each area of the desk. All the top surfaces will have blue paint. For the inside of the legs, I used 3 different colors of teal, and I started with the lightest at the top. I created a custom blue color for the middle band. And for the bottom area, I'm using a deep muted teal straight out of the bottle. This first coat won't be fully blended like I said before, but I'm just trying to get the color blocked in for now. In fact, I'm not planning to perfectly blend any parts of this desk except this underside area. And I got a first coat on all the vertical surfaces too. I actually changed direction a bit for coat 2, which you'll see in a minute, but at that point I left it all to dry overnight. In the morning, I started again with the top, and I first removed any stray brush hairs that had fallen out into the paint. Then it took me about an hour to really get the blend and coverage that I wanted. Like I said, I wasn't going for a perfect blend. Instead, I used a pouncing or a stippling motion to marry the 2 colors together. I used 2 brushes, each coated in a different color, plus 1 damp but clean brush, and I went back and forth until I was happy with the look. And by the way, that's all personal preference, so do what feels right for you and your project. Like I mentioned, I changed direction a bit on the vertical sections. I added this custom mixed deep orange tone to the top. On these sections, I'm going for like a sunset vibe with the ground below. So I just blended until I was happy. But some of these areas were really thin and I knew they'd need a 3rd coat. I used the lightest pink shade and I coated the long horizontal panel. Technically, this is considered the back of the desk, but it is what you'll first see when walking into the office. And with that done, I once again left everything to dry overnight. Then came the best part. The next morning, I could finally start pulling the tape. I used an X-Acto blade so I'd have the sharp point in order to lift the corner of the tape. And hi, how about those clean lines, am I right? Then it was time to start adding the decorative elements. I freehand painted some hearts in various shapes and sizes, and I did this on all 3 vertical sections. I'm going to use these Midnight Glow paints. They are blacklight paints, I believe, blacklight reactive, and give it a little extra something. Oh wow. Oh wow, that is bright. Holy crap. Holy crap. Alright, well that's gonna be fun. Start with a little brush. Let's see if they work. All right, I'm gonna finish doing these and let's just high-speed time-lapse this puppy. To finish up, I touched up the janky line along the outside of the heart. This was totally my fault and not the fault of the tape. It's because the tape bent into points as I tried to curve it, so the paint just got underneath. This paint was thick, so it wasn't super easy to do this with an artist brush. After this clip, I switched out to a 1-inch angled purdy to finish the job. In the future, I'd round off the points with an X-Acto before painting to save time in this step. Once I pulled the rest of the tape, I had a few more touch-ups to do. After they dried, I added 2 coats of top coat, which I sprayed to avoid rehydrating and dragging the paint. Then it was on to finishing touches. As I add FX and neon paint touches, I just want to say a quick thanks to everyone who has bought me a coffee or supported my growing business in any way. Even just liking this video goes a long way to helping me out, and I really appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe for more furniture makeovers, furniture restorations, and faux finishing. Thanks again to Sabrina over at Sab's Rehabs for hosting this Spring Fling challenge. The playlist and other links are all below. But that's all I've got for you today. Hang tight for the beauty shots. Thanks for being here and watching. Later, peeps! Just in case you're wondering if I hurt myself, yep, I definitely did. Ouchie. Oh. Yeah, that one too. Huh? Yeah. Fun for everyone. Just push down at the top.
Oh, didn't matter.
Man. Okay. Good thing it's light.
Yep.
Oh, there goes mine too. Okay. Yep. Now.
Tagging out.
Tag. Bye. Thank you. Here comes the middle-aged moment. Oh God. Okay. Yep. There it is. There it is.